I wanted other kids to have somebody in their lives that felt they're worthy, paid attention to them, was just an adult that was consistent, that they could count on, and I felt like that was something that I could do.
The stories are really sad, of course. They're humbling. They really, made me take a look at my own life and my own privilege, frankly. For me, I look at some of these cases and it just rocks me to my core, because it's hard to believe that there are kids that are living with this level of, fill in the blank, neglect, abuse, addiction, what have you.
I've had a couple kids who have never had a positive adult in their home, in their environment at all. So whether it's at school, maybe they didn't like their teacher, no one in their household. So that's a bit of a foreign language to the kiddo that you then have to express and just stand there, continue to do. You're positive. Continue to say, oh, you like puzzles? Oh, cool. And the next time you show up, you bring a puzzle and they think, wow, you actually remembered I said I like puzzles. And you'll do a puzzle with me?
It's when parents don't show up all the time, whether they can't or they're struggling with their own, addictions or their own challenges, whatever it might be. But I see the effect that has on the kids. And so I guess what I really try to be is that one constant in their life that shows up a lot, whether it's going to horseback riding lessons with one, going to orchestra concerts, going to choir concerts at school, and just showing up and being in the audience.
The first case I was involved in had a great happy ending. I mean, that one of the parents has just stepped up. He wanted so hard to be a parent, he didn't know how. I don't think he had a role model himself of how to be a parent. And he stepped in, he did what was asked of him. He was enthusiastic about parenting classes, about getting, some of those kind of resources so that he could be the parent that his kids needed. And eventually they were reunited. The kids were happy, he was happy. And it's one of those pictures that I look at. I took a picture of the three of them in their new apartment, and just the looks on their faces, because they're together again. And it doesn't mean life is great. No one's driving around in limousines or Cadillacs. It's always a struggle, but they're together.
I have a plaque in my house by my computer that a little girl and her grandmother gave me, and it says, "You can change the world." That was from my first case, but I look at that every day, and it just reminds me of the impact that CASAs have.
In my report, this kiddo, who was a 9-year-old boy, he felt he could talk to me, and I said, great. And I said, okay, so can I ask you a question? And he said, yes. And I said, all right, if you had a magic wand, where would you want to live? You could live anywhere. Where would you want to live? I kind of thought he might say Hawaii or something, right? And he went, oh, with grandma. And I said, grandma? Really? Which grandma? And he told me which one. And I said, so how come? And he said, well, I already have a bedroom there. A couple of my friends live in our neighborhood. I could go to my same school, and grandma makes really good food. And I said, that's nice. I said, so would you want me to tell the judge that? And he said, I don't know what that means, but if it means I could live with grandma, yeah. And I said, okay, I'm gonna try. And that was on the report that the judge paused and made make sure they had read, and guess what? The kiddo got to live with grandma.
I think CASA is so important in any community. These kids grow up, and if we can give them something, give them self-worth, self-confidence, when they're young, they will take that and be productive adults and be able to show love for their own family, and hopefully carry on that confidence inside that maybe CASAs can help nurture. Hopefully they can carry that on when they're adults and pass it on in some way.
Knowing you're making a difference in a kiddo's life and being a positive for them, and there's some elements of protecting them. And they need someone who's at least strong in heart to desire to keep them safe and to put them in a safe environment. That's the biggest thing.